Hey guys, it's Sam, and this video is actually a little bit different than my other videos because this is me working on the cover of my book. I am currently in the end efforts of trying to publish a novel that I wrote. It's fiction, and I will talk more about it on Saturday in a little vlog thing, but for this, the cover is a rose. And I have never drawn roses before, and this video is kind of the after effort of the many attempts at just trying to figure out how to draw a rose, because that took a darn while. I couldn't find any tutorials that really helped me, and I probably shouldn't have looked up tutorials at all to begin with and just tried to figure it out myself first. So I did look up tutorials, they didn't help, I ended up doing it myself. And that was the route I should have gone because it helps me more anyway. And I kind of got the idea down, but it definitely took a lot of repetition, a lot of mistakes, and a lot of trying to figure out what's going on, because I'm used to drawing things in shapes, but for some reason doing that with roses didn't work with me. Like, thinking about it in terms of line, like, it's kind of difficult to explain, but basically finding the lines of the edges of the petals and then kind of going from there. It also kind of helps that if you do, like, because I was doing the underside of it, so getting the little bud thing that goes into the rose where it connects, getting that in kind of early on helps too. So this is me just trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to do it. I wanted to have a watercolor look, like I knew that from the start, and I already had thumbnailed out the general idea of the cover, and so this was pretty much just putting it all together. So this is after I've practiced drawing roses a bunch of times, after I did a bunch of thumbnailing of the cover, and just after everything pretty much. So now this is me trying to do the cover itself, and it wasn't working out how I was picturing it in my head traditionally. Granted, I am so very noobish at watercolors, this is probably a bad idea to do that. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll switch to digital and it'll totally be easier digital. Like, I can just use those fancy watercolor brushes or just try it, it'll be simple, right? No. And I thought the trouble was gonna be drawing the rose, but when I finally got that down, it's pretty darn easy to draw roses. I mean, it's still kind of difficult, but in terms of this particular rose in this particular pose, it's very easy now. I've drawn it like a bajillion times, but it was just not working out digitally, and I was just like pulling my hair out, so frustrated. I really thought this was gonna be an easy project, but it's not. And it's gonna be like the cover of my book. I want it to look good. So I went back to traditional, and I was trying stuff out, and I'm like, oh, I think it would look kind of good if I had kind of a wash thing where I just lay down a bunch of water and then I just kind of drip the color on. But to do that, I would need masking fluid, because I'm not gonna lay down little strips of tape or something, or glue, or I don't know. I had to go get masking fluid. So I got masking fluid, and I forgot how expensive that stuff is, but it's stupidly expensive. So I laid all that down. I'm kind of drawing on really crappy paper, which doesn't help. So like, I think this is like the second time I've ever used masking fluid. And I know you're supposed to do it in kind of thin strokes, but God, why is everything with this project difficult? But whatever. It did what I needed it to do, and it didn't matter if like it ruined the paper at all or if the paper got messed up. All that mattered is if the rose itself looked passable, because I figured I could just, while working on it, I saw that it just wasn't going to happen, that things just weren't going to work out the way I wanted them to. So I decided to just be like, this will be a base, and I'll do everything digitally. I will save it digitally. So it ended up kind of being a mix of both. I haven't, at the time of recording this, actually finished the cover. I have gotten further with it. I'm not quite sure I'm happy with it. I'm gonna try and keep working on it for like the next few weeks probably. I don't know when this book will be published. I'll talk about more on that in the next video. So in terms of this cover, there is still quite a bit I want to try and figure out and try and do an experiment with, because a lot of it was just kind of color adjustment in Photoshop and just making it look nice. I wanted a white background, but I also kind of wanted there to be a texture. So I didn't try and get rid of all of the watercolor paper background, and I actually add another texture later on that I got from Pixabay, not sponsored, but I freaking love their website. It's still not quite there. It still feels like there's things that are missing. It's just not quite there. And I'm hoping that like it's not going to be that much more trying for me, but we'll see how it goes. It's still going in a direction that I like. I guess like for my first book, I just wanted it to be super complicated, despite the fact that I thought it was going to be relatively easy. So just typical me, GG Sam. And then the lettering was so difficult too. I don't know if I'm going to keep it looking like that, but that's the kind of fontish style that I wanted. And I don't know. I don't know anything. We'll see how it goes. But this is it for the progress of it so far. And if you stay after the credits, you will get some peel porn of the masking fluid. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Keep an eye out for the next video of me talking about my book. And feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. Bye!